Hey everyone, I'm Jeff, and today we're going to build a Nakashima-inspired live edge coffee table. Let's get to it. In today's video, you're going to learn how to turn a live edge slab into a beautiful coffee table like this and give it a finish that will last for years. That means it's time for slab hunting. You're looking for a slab that's both wide and long enough for your coffee table's dimensions. You're looking for a slab that's flat, straight, and has a beautiful grain pattern. Lo and behold, I find a gorgeous 10-foot cherry slab with nice figure, and it's long enough to make 2 coffee tables, so I'm going to make an extra one to sell. With my lumber in tow, I take them to the jointer and planer, and I start to surface the boards that will be making up the coffee table supports. So what the heck is a Nakashima piece of furniture? Well, it is a piece of furniture that was designed by George Nakashima, a Japanese-American architect turned woodworker, and he was the first one to popularize the use of live edge into furniture design. Now, George had a pretty interesting life. He traveled all over the world, so if you want to learn more about him, check out the link in the description. Now, you might be wondering about the shop environment here. Well, my good friend John has been gracious enough to allow me the use of his shop and his tools.
Jeff, it is 3 a.m. and I gotta be up in 2 hours. Will you go home, put my clamps away?
John is a little camera shy, but I think he'll come around. Anyways, on to this next part here. Now it's time for the glue up with a little help from a friend. Grab some old business cards out of your wallet and use them for the most productive purpose possible, spreading glue. While the glue dries, it's now time to attack the next part of the table, which is flattening the slab. The slab needed a good amount of material removed to flatten it, so I started off going across the grain with a scrub plane, followed by a jack plane, and then with the grain with a smoothing plane. I checked for level, and I have a lot more work to do. But hey, I can skip the gym today. Next, I mark a center line and put a line to true up one of the edges of the slab. This part of the slab will be used under the table as the main support. And one more for table number 2. I saved the thickest and widest part of the slab for the tabletop. Next, it's time to take our glued up board and cut the cross support pieces to size. There's only 2 cross support pieces, but you'll see 4 here because I'm making 2 tables. Next, we'll be making the half lap joints, which will secure the table and make a sturdy joint. We're going to be cutting out a total of 4 notches to complete the joints. For tight-fitting joints, you need 2 things, consistency and accuracy, and that's why I chose the cross-cut sled for this job. And I know what you're thinking, hey Jeff, why didn't you just use a dado blade? This would go so much faster. Well, I didn't have a separate crosscut sled that would fit the dado blade, and I didn't want to damage this one, so I just rolled up the sleeves and did a few extra passes. Do a test fit and stop your cuts just to the inside of your line. We're going to be using a file to finish up the rest. So if you like this video and you find value in this information, I would totally appreciate it if you look down below, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, hit the little bell icon. All those things are really going to help grow the channel and bring you more free woodworking content. Cut a couple notches on each side of your main supports, and we're going to use those notches for metal brackets that are going to secure the tabletop later. Next, we're going to use the miter saw with a stop block to create some Japanese-style accents on our cross-support pieces. The bevels will be half of 45 degrees or 22.5 degrees. Quick check to see if we're recording, and yes we are. A lot of slabs are going to have cracks, divots, imperfections, and the best way to fill these in is with a 2-part epoxy. After the epoxy is cured, bust out your sander, smooth it down, and the rest of your boards. Now it's time for more glue. We're going to use some wood glue. We're going to use a brush. We're really going to get in there and get those half lap joints really saturated with glue. Nice. Check for squareness, add a clamp, add a support, and wait overnight. And now for my favorite part of the project, any project, is adding some finish and really watching that grain pop. I used a few coats of tung oil as a base finish. After the oils had time to cure, it's time to add the top coat, and I selected a lacquer because it's very quick drying, so you can add coats very quickly. Lacquer is quite durable. Another good option is polyurethane, though it takes a little bit longer between coats. Now that the lacquer has dried, I'm going to use 600 sandpaper and a little bit of soapy water and very lightly sand down the surface. Look at that. Ain't she a beaut? The final part of the finish is going to be applying and removing the paste wax.
Wax on.
Using 4-0 steel wool, apply a light coat of wax. Then wait about 15 minutes for it to dry. Smooth out the wax finish with a stiff brush and apply 2 more coats.
Wax off.
After the last coat of wax, it's time to buff out the finish. I'm going to use a buffing wheel, and this is going to make the wax really shine, and the end result is going to make your coffee table look so much different and so much better than a lot of the mass-produced furniture and mass-produced finishes that are out there. We're in the last stretch now. The last thing that needs to be done is to attach your coffee table together. Measure out your main support so it's centered. Drill some holes and fasten your fasteners. I like to use these types of metal brackets for tabletops because it allows the expansion and contraction of the wood throughout the seasons, which prevents cracking. And with that, you're done. Bask in the glory of your new Nakashima-inspired coffee table. I gotta say, this project was a challenge. It was a lot of hard work, but I think it turned out great, and this is my most prized piece to date so far. And if you want to learn how to build your own with a lot more detail, step-by-step instructions, diagrams, click below. There's a link in the description that will bring you to my site that has all that information. Really gonna help you get on your way. So until next time, fellow coffee table enjoyers, I will see you on the next build. Peace. All right, one of those should be good.